Now, the thing here is, and from what I heard all week, I don't think New England is getting enough credit. Now, we need to remember here, this is the AFC champion New England Patriots. It's Brady and Belichick. This is their 7th appearance in this game. They've won 4. They're looking to win 5 tonight. They have the experience. I know Atlanta is a very good team here, and we're going to get into Atlanta's side later. And I'm not saying that New England doesn't have flaws here. I'm not saying that. We're going to get into those too. But we need to understand here, you're not giving New England enough credit here. This is not like this is the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Oakland Raiders or, any of those teams, or like the Miami Dolphins or the San Diego Chargers. It's not like this is a team that doesn't have any experience or hasn't been to this game in a long time. This is your AFC champion New England Patriots. You have a quarterback that has been to 7 of these games. You have a head coach that has been to 7 of these games. And you have an owner that brought both these guys in and knows the game better than anybody. New England in this game alone makes them a favorite. If Atlanta was playing anybody else tonight, it would almost be a unanimous decision as to why Atlanta will win the game. But because New England is in it with them, they have just as good of a chance with what I think is a weaker roster than Atlanta does. Never, ever count out the New England Patriots. Ever. Them in this game alone is why they are favored. It's why they are who they are. Brady has weapons to work with. Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, he made a hero out of last week. LeGarrette Blount. Martellus Bennett is expected to play, even though he's got a very serious ankle injury. He is expected to suit up tonight. And let's face it, if this game is close, 3, 4, 5 points, and Brady's got the ball late in the game, buckle up. New England has just as good of a chance as Atlanta to win this game. And why shouldn't they? They're the New England Patriots. And I feel like I myself haven't given them enough credit all year. But I have the numbers in front of me to prove why, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But just speaking about them today, this is the last game of the year. They are the AFC representative in this game. Why shouldn't they be given a chance? They should be given just as good of a chance as anybody to win this game. Now again, if Atlanta was facing anybody else tonight, with their offense, the way their defense has played since week 11, you can make a unanimous case why Atlanta will win the game. But the fact that Atlanta has to go up against Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and these two have had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, this is going to be a good one tonight in Houston. I'm telling you now, this is going to be a huge, unbelievable game played by the New England Patriots. Do not sleep on New England, because honestly to me, and again, I've spoiled my pick for the last couple of weeks. I'm picking Atlanta to win the game tonight, people. But let's face it, New England is not going to lay down for the Falcons. In fact, the Falcons, if they're going to win this game tonight, are going to have to earn it. But I will say this, as good as New England experience factor is, and we've seen the whole number 1 offense versus number 1 defense scenario play out before, and every single time it's gone to the number 1 defense. But New England needs to wake up and realize their defense is not as great as everybody is saying it is. Yes, they have the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL, but look at the teams that they've played. I'm going to read off the teams right now that have some of the worst offensive lines in football. These are the teams that they beat: the Cincinnati Bengals, the Denver Broncos, the LA Rams, the New York Jets twice, the Baltimore Ravens, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Miami Dolphins twice. Here are other teams that just have bad offenses: Cleveland Browns, the Houston Texans, and the Buffalo Bills. You add all them up together, that is 12 of their 14 regular season wins. You want to know the 2 I missed? Opening night at Arizona, where Arizona we thought was going to be a much better team, and week 7 against Landry Jones. I was just talking to Kevin Rabinall, host of Timeout 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., and I told him, you and I could be playing wide out, and we would still beat Landry Jones and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We could be the ones playing wide out for New England, and we could still beat Landry Jones because he has no idea what he's doing. New England, on paper, had the easiest schedule in the NFL all year long. Tonight, they face their toughest offense all year. They face their toughest offensive line all year. They face their toughest quarterback all year. They face their toughest team all year. And if you're New England, and if you're that New England defense, you must be concerned. If I'm a New England fan, I'm definitely 100% concerned that this defense is not going to show up in Houston tonight. Don't get me wrong. I know the stats. I know how these guys play against top wide receivers. You give Bill Belichick 2 weeks to come up with a plan for Julio Jones. Believe me, he's got a plan for Julio Jones tonight. I have no doubt. But then you're forgetting Mohamed Sanu. Then you're forgetting Devonta Freeman. Then you're forgetting Tevin Coleman. Then you're forgetting Gabriel. You're forgetting everybody else. Matt Ryan has multiple weapons to work with. Multiple. And that's the part that everybody's forgetting. Now, again, this has nothing to do with New England and giving them credit to be in this game. They have every single right to be here. They have earned their place. The AFC, yes, as weak as it was, New England still had to win tough games down the stretch. They had to win a very tough game against Houston in the divisional round, and we expected Pittsburgh to play a better game in the conference championship. They had to beat them too. But tonight, New England has their toughest battle all year long. And yes, you have Bill Belichick as the head coach. Tom Brady is your quarterback. Is that all that really matters? Because you're going into this game with no Gronk. All right, you got a lot of questionable guys on your offensive line. Understand, I don't think New England has been given enough credit for this game. I think a lot of people have been hyping up Atlanta all week, and rightfully so. But guys, let's face it. Yes, they had an easy schedule, but let's not count out New England yet. All right, let's not count them out yet. For the sole reason that they're the New England Patriots. For the sole reason that Bill Belichick is still coaching this team and he will be on the sideline tonight in Houston. For the sole reason that Tom Brady is one of, if not the greatest quarterbacks of all time. A win tonight will cement his legacy as the best. He wins tonight, he cements his legacy as the best. Again, any other team in the AFC going up against Atlanta tonight is getting killed. Pittsburgh, who is not that good. Kansas City, who doesn't have experience in this game at all. Now, does Atlanta not have any experience? Yes, I looked at a stat this morning. Tom Brady has 6 appearances in this game. The entire Atlanta Falcons combined, their players have 5. This game may not come down to experience. It may come down to who's better. Nonetheless, if it does come down to experience, watch out because the New England Patriots are coming. And they're coming for Atlanta. Tom Brady has made careers out of people. There are some wide receivers that Bill Belichick took chances on that were not that good. That Tom Brady made stars. He made a star out of a Monmouth graduate in the AFC Championship game 2 weeks ago. How amazing is that? He's made a star out of Julian Edelman. He reinvented Martellus Bennett's entire career after they flushed it down the toilet in Chicago. That's who Tom Brady is. And he's going to do it again tonight. Don't think that this game is going to be 28-0 Atlanta at halftime. It's not. This game, you're going to see a lot of New England, Seattle 2 years ago. You're going to see a lot of that game tonight, where it was from snap one to the confetti falling on the field, where you were on the edge of your seat the entire time. Now, I think Tom Brady's going to make mistakes early against that Atlanta defense. I think his offensive line is going to fall apart early, but I think they're going to recuperate in time to make this an interesting game come late in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter. We're in for a game like that tonight. Again, if Brady's got the ball late, buckle up. We're in for that game tonight. But again, New England has to realize right now that the big thing that everybody is looking at right now is their defense as good as everybody says it is? Because to me, it's not. And I gave you the proof right here. I read off their schedule. Cincinnati, Denver, LA, Jets, twice. Baltimore, San Francisco, Miami twice. Cleveland, Houston, Buffalo twice. That is 12 of their 14 regular season wins against terrible offenses. Terrible offensive lines. Offenses who don't have a quarterback or any receivers. Nothing. No hope. That was 12 of their 14 regular season wins. New England's defense concerns me. Now, I'm not saying that I'm giving it right to Atlanta, but what I am saying is understand that if New England's defense does not come to play tonight, if New England's defense isn't as good as everybody says it is, they're in big trouble against Matt Ryan tonight. So let's get into our NFC champion Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta will appear in this game for the first time since 1998. They look for their first win in franchise history, and I can't say enough about this team. Dan Quinn, an amazing job since taking over. I honestly thought he should have won Coach of the Year last night. I'll take it, being a Dallas fan, knowing that Jason Garrett won. Congratulations to him. But I thought Dan Quinn should have won Coach of the Year because he severely turned this Atlanta team around in a way I have never seen before. You know, last year you get off to a really good start and then completely just fall flat on your face. And this year, here they are playing for a championship tonight with the single best offense in the NFL. One of the best I've ever seen. A great quarterback, a great receiving core, a great running game, a good offensive line. Everything is there for Dan Quinn and the Atlanta Falcons tonight. This team is special. They run the ball well. They throw the ball well. They catch the ball well. There is a reason why this offense is ranked number 1 in the country. This offense is ranked number 1 in the National Football League. It starts with the most valuable player, Matt Ryan. who was named the MVP last night at the NFL Honors Awards. It starts with the MVP. This year went from being benched in the beginning of your fantasy season to your number one reliable player. He went from being benched in week 1 to your keeper in week 17. That's what 17 weeks did for you with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was phenomenal this year. Inside and out, just completely laid waste to the NFC. And he did it really quietly, too. I mean, listen, I found myself picking against Atlanta in the postseason as well. He did it quietly. He's got weapons like Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel, Eric Weems, and Matt Ryan is going to use all of them tonight. The Atlanta defense has been phenomenal since week 11. They have made stops when it mattered. They have made big plays. They've been able to rush the quarterback. They have been able to do it right on both sides of the ball, and it couldn't have come at a better time. But their defense tonight concerns me as well, too, because they are going up against one of the best of all time. I'm excited to see them play in this game. I've never seen them play in this game before, so I'm definitely excited to see what we're going to see tonight. I think Matt Ryan is going to have a phenomenal game. I think New England is going to do their best to shut down Julio Jones. And listen, you give Bill Belichick 2 weeks to come up with a plan against Julio Jones, he's going to come up with something. Julio Jones, do I expect to make a few big plays tonight? Do I expect him to score? Yes. But don't expect him to be a constant weapon all night long because New England is going to have him shut down at times. We all know that. We understand that. It's Bill Belichick. He's coaching this New England team. He has something for their biggest weapon. And if you don't believe me, go look online and see how many times the New England defense shuts down top receivers. They do it all the time. They shut down Antonio Brown last week. They were able to shut down guys all season long, like Antonio Brown, like Emmanuel Sanders, Larry Fitzgerald on opening night. They have been able to do it all year. Now, they didn't play a lot of good competition, but when the good competition did come into play, they have found ways to get them shut down. And I expect the same for Julio Jones tonight. I don't think he's going to have that huge, big game that everyone says he's going to have. I expect him to make plays tonight. I expect him to score, but I don't expect him to have a monster big game because it's not going to happen. New England is going to have him shut down. Here's the problem. You have other weapons. Like I said before, Mohamed Sanu, who has had a phenomenal season. Taylor Gabriel, who has played great coming in and out. Matt Ryan has multiple weapons to use, so if Julio Jones is contained tonight and is not open, all Matt Ryan's got to do is look on the other side. That's all he's got to do. So I expect Matt Ryan and the offense tonight to be fine. I expect Matt Ryan to use all of his weapons, his entire arsenal, to make sure he gets the job done against New England tonight. But the Atlanta defense does concern me. Now, I did say that they have played extremely well since week 11, and they have. Vic Beasley is a key factor for that. Jalen Collins as a cornerback. Ricardo Allen. They have done phenomenal all year, especially since week 11. But listen, you are playing the New England offense tonight. You are playing Tom Brady. And if that New England O-line holds up against that Atlanta front seven, if Tom Brady's got time to throw the ball, you're going to see a lot of what Aaron Rodgers was doing in the entire postseason. He's going to find weapons. He's going to have time to throw the ball, and he's going to find guys open. Nobody in this league can cover a receiver for 8 to 9 seconds. It's impossible. So if you give Tom Brady that long to throw the ball, you're going to find Chris Hogan open. You're going to find Julian Edelman open. All right, you might find LeGarrette Blount open somewhere on the field. All right, you're going to find maybe Martellus Bennett open on the field. You're going to find somebody open on the field. If Tom Brady's got time to throw the ball, you're going to pay for it. And that's just the way football works. It's the way it's always worked. Nonetheless, though, for Atlanta, you're going to need Jalen Collins and Robert Alford to step up. Be strong corners, especially because you're going to probably have to cover Julian Edelman. You're going to have to cover Chris Hogan. You're going to need these two to step up for that. Canu Neal, Ricardo Allen, you got to have them strong in the secondary. Expect Vic Beasley, Deion Jones, and Devondre Campbell to go after Brady. Crucial moments, third down, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s. 2nd and long. Expect them to go after Brady. They're not afraid to go after Brady. Vic Beasley is a monster. He's had a phenomenal second season. But let's face it, it is Tom Brady, one of the best in this game. He wins tonight. I believe he is. But expect Atlanta's defense to come to play, and I've been saying it all week. Not that I'm not giving New England enough credit, but I will say it here. If Atlanta's defense shows up, Atlanta has no problem because you know Matt Ryan is going to play well. You know his receivers are going to do well. You know Matt Ryan's offensive line is going to play sharp. The offense is not going to be the problem if Atlanta loses this game tonight. It's going to be the defense. It's going to be, could the defense stop Tom Brady? Could the defense hold it together for one final night? Could the defense cover Chris Hogan? Could the corners cover Julian Edelman? Were the trick plays too tricky for the Atlanta defense? Why could the front seven not get through the New England O-line? Atlanta's offense offense is not going to lose this game tonight. The Atlanta defense will be the reason they lose, if they lose. So if you're an Atlanta fan, who I do know a few out there, I know you know that your offense is going to be fine tonight. But it is your defense that you need to stop and think about and say, if they don't come to play tonight like they have in the last couple of weeks, we're going to be in trouble. Because the moment that Tom Brady can take advantage of mistakes made by the other team, he will. He's 39 years old. He's made a career out of it. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game. He's made a career out of stuff like this. And he'll do it again tonight if you let him. Nonetheless, I expect Atlanta to come to play tonight. I do expect their defense to show up. It's been great for the last couple of weeks, since week 11, but you're going to need these guys to step up, these Pro Bowl guys to step up. There's no experience on this team in the big game. Now, Dan Quinn has coached 3 of the last 4. Other than that, there's only a few players on this team with very minimal experience. Tom Brady has more experience by himself than the entire Atlanta Falcons team. That says something. And again, if Atlanta was playing anybody else in the AFC today, maybe besides Oakland with Derek Carr, they win this game. Because the AFC has been so weak, so pathetic this year, that to me, the 2 contenders in the beginning were New England and Oakland. And when Derek Carr went down on Christmas Eve, that was the night that New England won the conference. And everybody knows that. And if you want to argue with me, you're going to be wrong. Because you can make a case for Pittsburgh, but they weren't ready in the AFC title game when they were asked to be. Kansas City never gets past the divisional round. Miami was horrible by not coming up north to practice when they were going to play Pittsburgh. Adam Gase freezing the ball in Miami? That doesn't do anything except you play with a cold ball next to a palm tree. If Atlanta was playing anybody else in the AFC today, it's a no-brainer. But New England on the field alone concerns me for Atlanta. But for Atlanta, I think this team is special. I think they're going to play very well tonight. It's their first appearance in this game since '98. They have a chance to win their first Vince Lombardi trophy in franchise history. It's the classic number 1 offense versus number 1 defense in this game. And I think for the first time in a while, the offense is going to prevail. I definitely think we are in for a tremendous game tonight. Again, after 2 horrible conference championships, where Green Bay didn't put up a fight because Aaron Rodgers was contained and we forgot that Green Bay is terrible without him, and for a Pittsburgh team that wasn't ready for the spotlight just yet, playing an AFC Championship game in Foxborough and just get beat as bad as they did, we knew that was going to happen too. We should be in for a tremendous championship game tonight. We should be in for a tremendous ball game tonight. 2 of what I think are the best teams in their respective conferences. The Falcons, the number 1 offense in the NFL. The Patriots, however you want to say it, and I've given both sides of it, the number 1 defense in the NFL. This game should be good on many levels for many reasons. I think Atlanta still has a lot to prove. I think they're still a very underrated team, and I think they aren't given enough credit at times, especially against Green Bay. And hey, I was one of those people that picked Green Bay to win the NFC. All right, I was one of those people that picked Green Bay to win that game against Atlanta. All right, I could not have been more wrong, because again, we forgot that without Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay is horrible. And New England, they're going to be put to the test tonight because the whole AFC has been an absolute joke all year. With the exception of the Oakland Raiders and Derek Carr, they were the best contender to stop New England and win the AFC. And again, on Christmas Eve, December 24th, was the night that New England raised the AFC Championship banner, because when Derek Carr went down, Oakland's season crumbled with his leg. Okay, December 24th is when Gillette Stadium raised the AFC Championship banner, because it was over at that point. That was 1 month before the AFC Championship game. So New England is going to be put to the test tonight to see, can they actually pull this off and win? All right, the AFC was so weak all year. I am curious to see how New England plays against good competition tonight, because New England really didn't play against good competition all year. I won't even put the playoffs in perspective, because honestly, without Houston's defense, they had no chance. And honestly, because of Brock Osweiler, I thought he was so bad that Houston might have won that game if he was better. And Pittsburgh was not ready for the AFC Championship game. And Kansas City would not have been ready for the AFC Championship game either. I'm not putting that just on Pittsburgh. Nobody was taking out New England. Nobody. To me, the only team that can take out New England is Atlanta tonight in Houston. And you're going to see why. Atlanta has a dominating offense. Their defense has played much better in the last 8 or 9 weeks. They have weapons up and down the field. Their defense is outstanding with young raw talent like Jalen Collins and Vic Beasley and Robert Alford and Ricardo Allen and Devondre Campbell. It's a stacked team. Now, I'm not saying that New England doesn't have a lot of talent either. I mean, you have Tom Brady as your quarterback. That is enough reason to consider you to win just as anything. You can go on the field 11-on-1. A lot of people would still pick Tom Brady over Atlanta. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in this game for the 7th time. The experience factor easily, hands down, is going to New England. Hands down. Stop and look at the bigger picture. This might not be a bad experience. Now, if the game is close in the end, it will come down to experience, which I expected to. But to me, Atlanta's got the better team. They have better talent. They have better players. But New England could win this game just off of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the fact that they've been here before. I expect Julio Jones to get shut down at times tonight. I expect him to make some plays. I don't think Julio Jones is going to have an awful game. I'm not saying that. I definitely think there is going to be cause for concern for him, though. But then you have guys like Mohamed Sanu and Taylor Gabriel out there, and Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman. Matt Ryan has multiple weapons to work with. That's why he's the MVP. A lot of people are comparing this to last year's game, where Atlanta reminds them a lot of Carolina and New England reminds them a lot of Denver. I see that and I don't. Only because when you stop and look at it, Carolina had problems on their team that you really didn't see. And especially that defense you knew was not that good. Atlanta's defense played in the second half of the season. Carolina's defense was not good. Remember when Seattle almost came back in the NFC divisional round last year? You remember the only team that beat them last year in the regular season was the Atlanta Falcons. Don't count out Atlanta because they remind you of Carolina last year. They are not the same team. To me, I think this Atlanta team is better than last year's Carolina team. And New England, much better on offense than Denver was last year, but Denver's defense at least competed against talent last year. To me, New England's didn't. Denver's defense at least fought against competition last year. Can New England's defense actually prove that they are as good as they say they are? Can Matt Ryan prove that he's as good as he says he is? Can he prove he's the MVP for one final time this year? We're going to find out tonight in the biggest game that we are probably ever going to see, and I think this has an opportunity to go down in the history books as one of the best games of all time.